Welcome to another Gran Turismo Sport tutorial. Today we're featuring Group 3 cars around BB Speedway. And this is from a daily race. I know I said that I wasn't going to do many daily races anymore. But, well, the main reason for that is because I go race by race wondering when the game is going to screw me over. But, well, with these, I know other people are going to screw me over, and at least with other people, I can actually fight back, unlike the game screwing me over. So, anyway, I decided to do these, and it took until 12:30, and the events end at 2 a.m., but, well, at 12:30 a.m., I was able to run the second fastest lap in the Americas. So, here it is. This tutorial should be relatively quick, because it's a relatively small track. But anyway, let's get going. To start off, I'm in the Volkswagen Beetle for this one. By the time this event ended, everybody in the top 10, except for like one, was in the Beetle. And first place was in the Beetle as well, so it seems like that this one's the best one. So anyway, for the run-up to your best lap, pretty much it's as you figure for an oval, the outside line is the best, but where this track has a whole heck of a heap of banking, it's not even really just the outside, it's kind of an arc. I tried staying on the outside the whole time versus going in at the end. These cars handle good enough where going in at the end seems the best way to do it, because then you use that little bit of a hill that the banking provides to gain that little bit more speed. So arc it to where you start on the bottom, on the apex of the turn, which is kind of hard to say really where that is because it's a long turn, but kind of the middle of the turn be on the top, and then by the end be back on the bottom, and then you'll be carrying max speed. You don't have to slow down any there. I am on traction control 1 with this car, but it doesn't seem to affect it too much. Starting 2 and higher, it slows you down in the high speed turns. So if you can control it, I recommend using 1, but 1 and 0 seem to not affect the high speed turn, so probably it's best to keep it on 1 just for stability's sakes. And anyway, to the line, pretty much right after you pass the line, and right after, I actually do use where it says to brake, just because even in turns where it's kind of hard to have a visual area to brake, I can kind of do a timing area to brake, however long it is after that brake symbol comes up. So pretty much for this turn, it's almost right after that brake symbol comes up. And with these cars, they're grippy enough where you can kind of go into the turn while still braking, like turn while braking, and that's perfectly fine. As for what you want to brake to, pretty much kind of trail brake a little bit, but not that big a deal, because, like I said, these are pretty grippy. Pretty much by the time you get to the turn, you're going to be where you want to be. And where you want to be exactly is about 106, 107. And then once you're there, believe it or not, it's actually full throttle. In theory, you spin out, but this car is overpowered, so you actually don't. Even in the Volkswagen GTI, which seems like it usually was the preferred one, it got kind of sort of loose around this turn, but this car, if you do it right, it's pretty much perfect. It doesn't lose any speed or traction control 1 going off the turn, but yet it's still stable, if you get it right. It will spin out if you are a little bit off, but that's a practice turn. That's the most important turn in the whole track, because that's the only one they actually have to brake for. So pretty much if you go 107 and you don't hit that wall coming off, you've got a good lap. And again, if you go 107, that's naturally going to carry you as close to that wall as possible. The closer you are to that wall, this means you've carried more momentum. So that's a good judge of if your lap's going well. If you exit that turn close to that wall on the right, then you have a good lap going. And really, as for the rest of the track, it's pretty simple. Honestly, even though this track has more turns than Blue Moon Bay, it's kind of easier than Blue Moon Bay, because in Group 3 cars at least, Blue Moon has 2 turns you have to slow down for. This only has 1. And yet this track is actually shorter. That doesn't fully make sense. But I guess it's just the banking in this game makes a lot of difference for these cars. Obviously, in real life, I don't really think Group 3 is a race on oval, so it's kind of hard to say how that would work in real life, but whatever, I guess it seems pretty realistic. But anyway, for the rest of the turns, do as you kind of figure. Just stay on the bottom, and you're good, pretty much. This is where traction control on 1 comes in handy, because if you're on 2, then you get slowed down here slightly, but 1 and 0, no big deal. The only point where it seems like I'm losing time to the leader, other than that the leader's with the steering wheel and I'm with a controller, so there's a little bit of precision in that, is around this turn where I'm using automatic. I kind of stay at 149. I don't know for sure if that makes a difference, because generally in every race car, the higher RPMs, you go faster, but it does seem like I kind of stay at 149 until I get off the turn. It might just be because I'm turning, but I don't know. If you want to run manual there, by the time you get off the turn, it might be better to already be in 50 or a little bit earlier, but other than that, that's pretty much the lap. And again, I don't even know that for 100% sure because I never use manual. But anyway, stay on the bottom here. Don't hit the part where there's no banking, but again, that's just kind of like any track with banking. As long as you stay close to that but don't hit it, you're good. And then, like all the tracks, don't turn out if you know it's going to be your best lap. So that way you use the least distance possible. And then you're to the line. I was able to run for my best lap 25.128, 6, 8. Yeah, I think that's an 8. My phone camera isn't the best, as y'all can tell. Anyway, whatever. Either or, it's be second place. I actually got second place, not by all that much, but hey, second place in all of the North America is pretty good. By the split times, I could have got like a 105, but I think some of that's kind of iffy too, because there's direct correlation and you take a wider line a lap before you carry more speed and all that, so it's kind of, you can't absolutely have your absolute max around this track every time, because it's basically an oval and momentum matters here. But anyway, there you go, second in all of North America's region, and this actually stuck. I was second by the time this event ended as well, and the only person who beat me was Doodle, so I can't really complain about that one. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all learned something. Pretty easy. Just if you get turn 1 about 106 or so and you don't hit the wall coming off, you're pretty much set to a good lap in the Volkswagen Beetle. So yeah, I was able to do this actually in about 5 laps in the Volkswagen Beetle. Granted, that was after about 200 miles in the Volkswagen GTI, but still, Beetle seems pretty cotton picking dominant. And because it got me up to second, even though it's kind of an obvious overpowered car, for me at least, it's worth a yeehaw.